Question 16, 3,218 divided by 14. Now I'm going to demonstrate the chunking method for this. So the chunking method is when you subtract chunks of the number you're dividing by, which in this case is 14, until you get as low as you can. And the aim is to get as low as you can, as quickly as you can. So you take off the biggest chunks that you can. So what chunks are we going to do? Well, let's make a list here. So we're going to have one lot of 14 is obviously 14. We'll have 10 lots of 14, 100 lots, 14. We'll have 2 lots, 20 lots, 200 lots, and we'll have 5 lots of 14 as well. I always recommend that you stick with the same chunks. 1 lot, 10 lots, 100. 2 lots, 20 lots, 200, and 5 lots. And each time we're doing 14s. These are easy chunks to do in your head. Sound big, especially 200 lots of 14, but there's a bit of a hack to do this. So let's work out our chunks. So 1 lot of 14 is 14. 10 lots of 14 is 140. 100 lots is going to be 1,400. 2 lots of 14 is 28. 20 lots of 14 is 10 times bigger than 2 lots of 14. So if 2 lots of 14 is 28, 20 lots is that same 28, but with a 0 on the end, so 280. 200 lots of 14 is the same 28, but with 2 zeros on the end, so 2,800. And 5 14s is half of 10 14s. So 10 14s is 140. 5 14s is going to be 70, because that's half of 140. Now we need to look at our chunks and start subtracting. Now the aim is to take the biggest chunk that you can to get as low as you can, as quickly as you can. So the biggest chunk in this list that I can take away from 3,218 is 2,800. You won't always be able to take away the biggest chunk in your list, because sometimes the biggest chunk in your list will be bigger than the actual number. But in this case, 2,800 isn't bigger than the actual number, so we can take it away. So we're going to start by taking away 2,800. Now you should always write at the side what chunk of that is. That's a chunk of 200 14s, and put a ring around it, ready for adding up at the end. And now we are just going to take it away. So 8 take away 0 is 8. 1 take away 0 is 1. 2 take away 8 we can't do, so we borrow. 12 take away 8 is 4. And 2 take away 2 is nothing. So we're down to 418. And I've got pretty low already. So now we need to check what can we take away from 418. Now I'll be taking this 280 away now, because that's the next biggest chunk that we can take. So 280 from 418. So 8 take away 0 is 8. 1 take away 8 we can't do, so borrow. 11 take away 8 is 3. And 3 take away 2 is 1. So we're down to 138. And that 280 was a chunk of 20 14. So I should be writing a little times 20 at the side. Now we're on 138. Now the problem we've got here is that this 140 is too big to take away from 138. So we can't take it away. So we have to go to the next smallest one, which is 70. So the next thing we're going to do is take away the 70. So take away 70. And that is a chunk of 5. So I need to put a times 5 here. And then take that away. So 8 take away nothing is 8. 3 take away 7 we can't do, so borrow. And 13 take away 7 is 6. So we're down to 68. We can't take away 70 because that's too big. So we'd have to go to this 28 is the next biggest one. But it is actually possible if you're able to. The really smart people will start making new chunks. If you doubled the 28, that would give you 56. But you would have to double the chunk, whatever chunk of 14s that is. That's a chunk of 2. So if you double the 28 to make 56, it wouldn't be a chunk of 2. It would be a chunk of double that. It would be a chunk of 4. So 4 lots of 14 is 56. So we could actually take away the 56 and call that a chunk of 4. And then that would get us down quicker. Remember, we're trying to get down as quickly as we can. So 8 take away 6 is 2. 6 take away 5 is 1. And now we're down to 12. And now we can't take any chunks off because the smallest chunk of all is this 14 here, and that's bigger than 12. So what that means is we're done with our subtraction. We add up our chunks now. And that's all these numbers we've put a circle around. So 200 plus 20 is 220, plus 5 plus 4 is 229. So the final answer is going to be 229. However, there is a remainder. And this number down here that we had left, that is a 12 remainder. So what we need to do is say that it's remainder 12. And because the whole thing was divided by 14, that 12 is also divided by 14. So the final answer is 229 and 12/14.